Day number 11 of Chicago Bears training camp. The Family Fest happened today, and we have a lot of stuff to talk about. What's going on, guys? I'm back with another Chicago Bears training camp update video, which I'll be giving you guys every single day this year during the offseason. So if you guys want all the latest updates on what's happening with the Chicago Bears in training camp, definitely be sure to subscribe to my channel. Today, I'll be talking about the Family Fest, which happened at Soldier Field today. So the first practice in front of the fans, and obviously the day didn't start out that well with Roquan Smith demanding a trade at the beginning. So that kind of put a damper on all the Family Fest celebrations. Forced a lot of Bears fans to talk about that situation instead of Family Fest, which kind of sucked. But I'll talk about the Roquan situation a little bit at the end of this video. I won't talk too much about that in this video because I made a separate video already covering that, which I'll link down below in the description. But yeah, bad start to the day. Roquan Smith wanted out. The world was falling apart, but we still had a pretty fun practice. A lot of highlight reel plays that were made, which I saw on Twitter. There's a lot of video that was shared on Twitter because at this practice, fans could actually record video. So a lot of footage that I'll be showing in this video, but let's talk about practice today, guys. Okay, what exactly happened at practice? And according to reports, it was not the best day for the passing offense, specifically because a lot of receivers were out today, okay? So Velus Jones, the rookie, was out. Byron Pringle, you guys know already, he's injured. He was out today. David Moore, a depth signing that we made, he also suffered an injury today, which might be severe, okay? He was limping off the field, so he was out for the majority of practice. So had a lot of guys out today, guys, okay? It was mainly throwing to Darnell Mooney, Equanimeous St. Brown, Nasimba Webster, and like a few other guys that I'm sure most NFL fans have not even heard of. So it wasn't exactly the best group of receivers out there today. But Justin Fields and the passing offense still put together a handful of highlight reel plays that did carry the offense, and the run game especially looked pretty good as well. But talking about the passing offense, first of all, I have to talk about the play of the day and perhaps the play of the entire training camp so far. Darnell Mooney, wide receiver number 1, Darnell Mooney, put some respect on his name, guys, because after a play like this, you basically have to. I'll put the play on the screen right now. I'm sure a lot of you guys have already seen this, but going down the field with a DB draped all over him, Darnell Mooney comes down with an insane one-handed catch. Okay, one-handed, Odell'd it basically. Didn't go back all the way like Odell did, but still, that's a very impressive one-handed contested catch with no space at all to make that. So, guys, this is what Darnell Mooney needs to do if he wants to be viewed as a wide receiver 1 in this league, because wide receiver 1s, they make contested highlight reel catches like that, okay? If you look around the league, guys like Stephon Diggs, guys like Justin Jefferson, guys like Jamar Chase, they make catches like this, and that's why they're viewed as wide receiver number 1s. In the past, Darnell Mooney has made some catches like this, but he has to be more consistent with them, in my opinion, because last year he did have a couple of drops on contested catches, but so far in camp, guys, he's made a lot of contested catches, okay? More contested catches, I would say, than he's made in camps prior, okay? He used to be more of a separation type of guy where he got open very easily, yeah, for down the field bombs, but he didn't necessarily make these contested catches all the time, but he's doing a lot more of that in camp so far, and it makes sense because he puts in so much work over the offseason. I mean, it's well documented how great his work ethic is, okay? In his rookie year, his first purchase ever with his NFL money was a jugs machine, okay? He's constantly going out there, putting in work with the jugs machine, putting in work with Justin Fields. He was out there with Justin Fields basically every single week of the offseason, working on routes, working on his timing with him, and it showed so far in camp. It's very evident why Darnell Mooney is the wide receiver 1 of this offense. He consistently gets open, he consistently makes highlight reel plays, and you hope that translates into the regular season when a lot of attention is going to be placed on him, given the fact that he is the number 1 receiver now on the Chicago Bears. So overall, it was a pretty good day by Darnell Mooney, okay? He also had a couple other catches down the middle of the field, which they weren't highlight reel catches or anything like that one was, but good routes, guys, good separation. He got on those routes and caught the ball, okay? And Justin Fields delivered accurate passes to him in those situations. So the connection between Fields and Mooney only continues to grow so far in camp, and you absolutely love to see it. Talking about Justin Fields now, guys, how did he look? Well, he didn't have much to throw to, okay? Besides Mooney, besides Komet, besides Equanimeous St. Brown, it was all practice squad guys that I'm sure a lot of you have probably not even heard of, okay? Unless you're very in tune with the Chicago Bears roster like I am, like a couple other diehards are that have nothing better to do in their free time. But yeah, so the passing offense, according to reports, was not the best. Okay, the 2-minute offense had some hiccups. Okay, a lot of guys were not getting open going down the field, which credit to the defense, obviously. I mean, the defense was locking things down there, but that could also be bad offense. So it's kind of a mixture between not much receiver talents and great defensive play. Okay, not much open going down the field, but Justin Fields was still able to have a pretty solid day, all things considered. Okay, according to Chris Maltby, one of my friends that actually went to Family Fest, so he said that few things that stood out to me about Bears quarterback Justin Fields today. Way quicker ball release than last season. Love to see that. Threw the ball away when no options were on the table. Did a better job evading pressure in the pocket and used his legs to extend the plays and scramble, which I would agree with all four of these points. Okay, looking at the highlights on Twitter, there were a lot of times, guys, where Justin Fields dumped the ball off when there was nothing open going down the field, or he threw the ball away when there was nothing open. And I love to see stuff like that, guys, because although you want plays of 20, 30, 40 yards every single play, that's realistically not going to happen, especially with how limited the Bears receiving talent is at this point in time. So you got to check down when there is a check down. And last year, I've said this over and over again, Justin Fields did not check down enough. Okay, he did not throw the ball away enough when there was nothing open down the field. He always wants to get a play going. He's kind of like a Russell Wilson, kind of like a Deshaun Watson, in that they take more sacks because their eyes are always looking down the field. That benefits you sometimes, but it can also harm you. And the great quarterback guys, eventually they learn to throw the football away and also take the checkdowns when nothing else is open. And that's a skill that you have to learn. So, good that Justin Fields is doing a lot more of that so far in practice. And talking about his legs, guys, Justin Fields uses legs a lot today in practice, okay, on designed QB runs, on keepers that Luke Getsy designed himself, but also on plays where there was nothing else open, so he just took off with the football and gained yards, gained touchdowns that way, okay? According to Zach Pearson, in a red zone work, he had 2 scrambling touchdowns, which I'll put one on the screen right now, which was a pretty nice run by Justin Fields, kind of a stop and go and evading defenders there. So he's got the ability to do that. We saw many times last year where with his legs, when nothing else was open down the field, he took off and helped us out in crucial situations. Okay, you hope that it doesn't resort to that every single play, because you want Justin Fields to be a quarterback first, and you want there to be guys open down the field and enough time for him in the pocket to be a quarterback. But realistically speaking, there's going to be times this year where he's going to have to do just that, and taking advantage of his speed, of his athleticism, it makes perfect sense. So overall, I would say a pretty decent day by Justin Fields, all things considered. Okay, did not have a lot of talent to work with, but still put together, a handful of highlight reel plays, still moved the football down the field. According to Sean Hammond, he said that during the 2-minute drill, with 2 seconds remaining on the clock, Justin Fields' pass falls incomplete in the end zone, but he said that the offense needed a touchdown, drove from its own 15 down to the 17. Nice completions to St. Brown and Mooney along the way. That's a pretty solid drive, guys, even though it did not result in a touchdown, given the fact that he did not have many proven guys to throw to besides Mooney and maybe Komet. Which, talking about Komet, guys, Komet also had himself a pretty solid day of practice, okay, according to Greg Braggs Jr. So he said that it didn't get video, but Komet just burned Brisker deep for a touchdown. Can't tell if this was on 1-on-1s or on 11-on-11s. Hopefully it was on 11s, because that's worth a lot more than just 1-on-1s. But regardless, guys, Brisker's locked Komet up handful of times so far in camp. Okay, a lot of the video that I've seen, Brisker has done a very good job on Cole Komet. So I'm glad to see Komet also winning a couple battles against a rookie, because that's what you have to do, guys. Okay, you're going up against a rookie. It's his first time in the NFL. I know that Brisker is super talented, but Komet is entering year 3 now. Okay, you expect him to win some of these matchups, and he did definitely today, okay, against Brisker, against some other guys. But he did also miss a good portion of practice due to some apparent injury, but I don't think it's a major injury. I'm pretty sure he'll be back relatively soon, because I don't recall Eberflus talking about that today. So maybe he was just out due to rest, or maybe got banged up a little bit, but regardless, he should be fine. But pretty solid day out of Cole Komet. Also talking about another tight end, guys, Ryson John. Okay, I don't know if a lot of you are familiar with him, but he's basically like a backup tight end that we signed this offseason, who has a lot of nice traits, and he could factor into this tight end rotation, because nothing is proven besides Cole Komet here. Like, nobody is guaranteed a spot, I would say, besides Cole Komet. And according to Alex Shapiro, guys, he said the guy further down the roster who had a nice day of practice, Ryson John, he caught a deep ball from Nathan Peterman early in the day. Then John and Justin Fields also connected several times during the 2-minute drill. So working with Peterman, but also working with the first team offense with Justin Fields, Ryson John was able to make a lot of plays. So good for him. Also talking about another guy on the offense, according to Chris Maltby, Equinemius St. Brown. He said that St. Brown surprised me all day, hauling in all balls thrown his way, and was incredibly stout in the run blocking game as well. Hoping he could be a jump ball receiver for Justin Fields and keep making plays this season. Talking about the run blocking there, guys, is also pretty crucial, because run blocking is going to be a big thing in the Bears offense this year. We're going to be running the football a lot like it or not, because that's what we have in personnel this year. We have proven running backs. We have David Montgomery. We have Khalil Herbert, who's coming off an underrated rookie season. We also drafted Tristan Ebner in the draft. So a solid running back rotation there, a quarterback that can also run with the football, but not too many proven wide receivers out there. And we also have guys on the O-line that can run block pretty well. Okay, I would say majority of our O-line, besides maybe Braxton Jones, they're better at run blocking than at pass protection. So we're going to be running the football a lot, and the fact that Equanimeous St. Brown can run block, that helps out a lot in terms of him making the roster, okay? Because you're going to have to block if you want to be starting on this Bears receiving core. So definitely a handful of plays that the passing offense did make, but I would say better day by the running game than the passing attack, okay? According to Alex Shapiro, he said that overall offensive thoughts from Bears practice, passing game still needs work, but run game, especially inside run and screen game, have both looked pretty good. And if you look at all the highlights, guys, that's definitely true, okay? They ran the ball in I formation a couple times, which I know a lot of you guys will love, okay? They brought out the fullback a bunch of times too, okay? The fullback that we signed this offseason, Kari Blasingame, he was out there blocking for David Montgomery, blocking for Khalil Herbert, and both of them looked pretty good out there today on their runs, okay? Inside zone especially, running to the outside as well, okay? We will be a mostly outside zone base type of scheme, so the cuts to the outside look pretty good today, and the run game as a whole had a lot of success, okay, moving the football down the field when the passing game was not really working. So that's the offense. Talking about the defense now, there's not much I can say about any individual player here, because I would say the defense as a whole looked pretty good, okay? Guys were locking up in coverage. You saw there wasn't much open out there for Justin Fields today, and the catches that were made against the defense, they were mainly highlight reel contested catches where the coverage was pretty good, okay? And you can't really do much more as a DB there. So overall, pretty good day by the defensive backs. So it was a pretty okay day, I would say, for the pass rush. Robert Quinn did have a sack going up against Braxton Jones, but otherwise, I feel like the Bears O-line did a pretty decent job, all things considered, okay? Michael Schofield was out there having a handful of pretty nice blocks, okay? Braxton Jones, aside from that sack allowed against Robert Quinn, he was solid the rest of practice. So Bears O-line actually had a pretty encouraging performance, I would say. Besides for center, Sam Mustipher did not look good today on a handful of occasions, which I don't know why Sam Mustipher is even starting out there with the first team. That kind of worries me, but there were some guys in the O-line doing pretty well. So I would say the defensive backs that had a better day than the pass rush overall. And I also want to talk about the emphasis on turnovers that the Bears coaching staff, the defensive coaching staff has placed, because today in practice especially, it was apparent that after every caught pass, DBs are trying to punch the ball out, okay? According to Greg Braggs Jr., he said that one thing that definitely stood out was the return of that Lovey-style defense that's constantly going for the ball, seeking out turnover opportunities. Even at the end of the play, when a wide receiver might have thought the play was over, defenders are smacking the ball out. I like it. And he also recorded this on video when Equanimeous St. Brown was caught fumbling at the end of a play because the ball was punched out by one of the DBs. So absolutely love that, guys, because Lovie Smith's defenses were so fun to watch. So many turnovers being created, so many touchdown opportunities created by those turnovers, and we're going to need a lot of turnovers if the Bears offense is to succeed this year, because there's a lot of unproven stuff on the offense, guys, but if our defense can help us out with turnovers, we could be scoring more points than people think right now. So that's pretty much all the stuff from practice today, guys. And then finally, I do want to talk about the roll call situation a little bit, not too much, but just a little bit. I want to talk about a quote that Ryan Poles had. So Ryan Poles actually had a presser today addressing the Roquan Smith situation, which props to him, guys, because you don't have to do that as a GM. You can easily choose to hide and duck during a situation like this because you're getting criticized by fans, by the media, but he chose to address the media, head on and answer their questions. And he said that there are record-setting pieces for this contract that I thought would show Roquan Smith the respect that he deserves. And obviously that has not been the case. We're doing everything we can to get this done. And later on, he just reiterated over and over again that they want Roquan Smith to be in Chicago. Okay, they're making offers to Roquan Smith, and they're disappointed it's come to this where Roquan Smith had to go public with his contract demands. And honestly, guys, I know that a lot of fans are going to be on the side of Roquan, and I obviously love my players too. Okay, I'm going to root for the players to get their money as well, but seems like somebody is lying here, guys. Like, Roquan Smith said he got fully disrespected with his contract, that it wasn't even close to what he wanted, but Ryan Poles is saying there were record-setting pieces in the contract. I think what's happening here is that Ryan Poles probably has some sort of de-escalator where if Roquan does not perform well, he gets money taken away from his contract, which, some other highly paid players don't have. But from the side of Ryan Poles, you're putting that in there because you want to be protected in case Roquan Smith ages like some other off-ball linebackers have aged. Okay, a lot of the off-ball linebacker contracts have not aged particularly well. And I'm not saying that that's going to be the case with Roquan, but you have to protect yourself in the franchise if that's the case. But obviously, I'm still hoping that we extend Roquan Smith, but we'll have to wait and see, okay? This is going to be a distraction for the next few weeks or however long it takes until we extend him or trade him. And the situation honestly sucks, but hopefully we still can get a deal done. But that's pretty much all the updates I have from today's practice. I'll be back again tomorrow, guys. Hope you guys have a good night, and as always, bear down.